I'm Azaria Tagaya, and this is Nightline, the top stories. Gerik bus crash which killed 15 students. Special task force to leave no stone unturned in its probe. And police get hold of dashcam footage of Gerik crash. The Federal Police have classified the fatal crash involving a chartered bus carrying University Pendidikan Sultan Idris UPSI students, which tragically claimed 15 lives in Gerik, Perak early Monday, as reckless or dangerous driving causing death. A special task force is being formed to enable a comprehensive investigation in collaboration with the Malaysian Institute of Road Safety Research, the Road Transport Department, Land Public Transport Agency and other relevant agencies. Bukit Aman Traffic Investigation and Enforcement Department Director Datuk Seri Muhammad Yusri Hassan Basri said police aim to complete the report as soon as possible so the bus driver can be charged in court. The probe will look into all angles, including the bus driver's traffic history, personal background, past activities and employment record.
Kuat semangat untuk mak ayah, kuat semangat, okey?
Kena dia, ya Allah tolonglah.
Ya, sabar. Emilia tengah mari.
The nation was shaken once again in the early hours of Monday by this tragic accident at kilometre 53 of the East-West Highway, which claimed the lives of 15 UPSI students. They were returning back to their campus in Tanjung Malim, Perak after celebrating Hari Raya Aidil Adha with their families back home. It was at 1:10 a.m. that the bus got involved in the accident with a multi-purpose vehicle MPV that was travelling in the same direction from Jeli, Kelantan to Gerik. This heartbreaking tragedy comes less than a month after a fatal crash on May 13th, also in Perak, which claimed the lives of 9 members of the Federal Reserve Unit FRU in Teluk Intan. The crash was believed to have occurred when the bus rear-ended the MPV, causing the bus to overturn and the MPV to veer into a roadside ditch. 13 students perished at the scene, while 2 other students succumbed to their injuries on the way to Gerik Hospital. 27 victims were injured, including 7 in critical condition. The students were travelling from Jeti, Terengganu to UPSI's main campus in Tanjung Malim, Perak. The university's management on Monday evening confirmed their identities. Earlier, 15 hearses were dispatched from Jeti, Terengganu to Gerik and the Raja Permaisuri Bainon Hospital in Ipoh to transport the remains of the students who were killed in the accident. Police mobile patrol vehicles escorted the vans to assist in managing the remains. The UPSI students were from several villages located between Jeti and Kampung Raja. The vans were provided by charity organisations and mosques in Terengganu, while one was provided by UPSI. The post-mortem examinations on the 15 students that perished in the crash have been completed. The students' remains have been released from the Gerik Hospital and the Raja Permaisuri Bainon Hospital in Ipoh and are being taken to their respective hometowns. For the latest, we now join our reporter Kumaran Rajamani in Ipoh. Kumaran, what's the latest on the funeral convoy movement?
Yes, Azaria, at around 6:40 Monday evening, the first 2 bodies, those who had their post-mortem done at Gerik Hospital, departed from the facility. They were followed by 13 more bodies released from Raja Permaisuri Bainon Hospital here in Ipoh. And by approximately 10:45 p.m., 2 of the victims had already arrived at Masjid Hadari in Jeti, accompanied by their family members and also escorted by a police vehicle. Now, the remaining 13 bodies were confirmed to be travelling along the Kuala Kangsar Gerik route at around 10 p.m. The convoy would be also accompanied by the police escort. All victims will be given funeral prayers at Masjid Hadari before being taken to their respective hometown for burial. And the burial ceremonies are expected to take place early this morning, right after the Subuh prayers. And we are still waiting for the updates on the remaining 27 victims who are still getting their treatment done at Hospital Gerik at the moment. And I believe by tomorrow morning, we will be given the statement by the State Health Department. I think that's the update from Perak as for now. Azaria?
Kumaran Rajamani reporting live for us from the Raja Permaisuri Bainon Hospital in Ipoh, Perak there. Thank you so much, Kumaran, for the updates. Now, one of the victims, 22-year-old Nur Aztira M. Arifin, said the bus had overtaken a lorry just before the accident. After receiving treatment in hospital, Nur Aztira, who's also a student at UPSI, returned to the accident site with her family to look for her personal belongings. In the bus, Nur Aztira was seated behind the bus driver.
Semua orang dia tidur dah. Lepas tu macam rasa bas tu kiri kanan tu. Lepas tu sedar tu tengok dia potong lori lah. Break tu ni. Lepas tu dia potong lori. Lepas tu dia masuk lain balik. Lepas tu tiba-tiba ni break lah. Masalah break. Balik tu saya jatuh atas rumput ni. Lepas tu saya keluar sendiri.
Various items, including clothing and books belonging to the victims, were found at the accident site. Food prepared by their families, including Hari Raya delicacies, were also seen scattered all over the roadside. Meanwhile, Perak police have received dashcam footage of the tragic bus crash. State Police Chief Datuk Nur Hisam Nordin said the footage will serve as evidence to determine the cause of the accident.
Setakat ini, we managed to have one dashcam punya record. So kita pun serah-serah to investigation officer yang bertanggungjawab dan kita akan guna gitulah. And we will record the statement of the dashcam owner.
Is it the one yang viral ke Datuk?
Yeah.
Is it the one yang viral tu ke? The dashcam video.
I guess so lah.
He said the footage could reveal the speed of the bus and road conditions at the time of the accident. Nur Hisam said they believed the bus was speeding and that the guardrail penetrated the bus from the front. When asked about survivors' claims that the bus was speeding and they could smell something burning, Nur Hisam said they had received the information but could not reveal more as it would compromise the investigation. He also said the stretch of road where the crash occurred was on an incline and poorly lit, and the incident happened around midnight after rain. The Land Public Transport Agency, APAD, has issued a show cause letter to the operator of the bus involved in the accident. In a social media post on Monday night, Transport Minister Anthony Loke said the letter was issued immediately after the crash. He said it was part of the government's commitment to ensure passenger safety and hold operators accountable. At the same time, the minister noted that the Road Transport Department is carrying out safety inspection and audit on the bus and the company involved under the Road Transport Act and the Land Public Transport Act. Loke said both agencies are working closely to determine if the company had committed negligence or failed to comply with safety standards. The minister said further action will be taken based on the outcome of the audit and investigation. A comprehensive road safety audit must be carried out immediately to identify high-risk areas such as sharp bends, poorly lit stretches and sections of road that require widening or repairs. A road safety expert says poor lighting coupled with outdated road designs are contributing factors towards road mishaps.
Beberapa penambahbaikan perlu dilaksanakan seperti pemasangan lampu jalan LED berkuasa tinggi di kawasan gelap, penambahan guardrail konkrit di kawasan turun, pemakaian cat flow reflektif pada pembagi jalan dan penambahan papan tanda amalan sebelum selekor berbahaya.
He also pointed out that the lack of early warning systems at dangerous curves poses a hazard for road users, especially for buses and heavy vehicles. The expert further recommends that the Road Transport Department conduct surprise inspections on buses, including checks on vehicle condition and drivers' rest schedules. The early morning crash near Tasik Banding along the Gerik-Jili route is now among the country's deadliest road accidents in recent history. In the last 22 years, at least 8 major crashes involving buses and other vehicles have claimed some 143 lives across the country. On November 23, 2003, a collision between 2 buses along kilometre 68 of Jalan Lipis Merapu left 14 people dead and 30 others injured. August 13, 2007, an express bus skidded and overturned at kilometre 229 of the Plus Highway near Bukit Gantang Perak, killing 20 people and leaving 9 seriously hurt. In April of 2009, a double-decker bus crashed into a divider and overturned at kilometre 443 of the Plus Highway near Rawang, Selangor. 6 people were killed. In December that same year, another double-decker bus lost control and crashed at kilometre 272.8 of the Plus Highway near Ipoh, Perak, killing 10 passengers and injuring 2 others. October 10, 2010 saw a multi-vehicle accident involving 2 buses and 4 other vehicles at kilometre 223 of the Plus Highway near Alor Gajah, which resulted in 12 fatalities and 40 injuries. The deadliest road mishap in recent history was reported on August 21, 2013. 37 lives were lost, with 16 others injured when a bus carrying 52 people plunged 60 metres into a ravine along Jalan Genting Highlands, Kuala Lumpur. In December 2016, 14 people were killed and 16 others injured when an express bus veered off the road and plunged more than 6 metres down an embankment at kilometre 137 of the Plus Highway near Kampung Jayo, Muar. And finally, the latest tragedy to be included in this grim timeline saw 15 lives lost in the early Monday morning crash in Gerik. His Majesty Yang di-Pertuan Agong Sultan Ibrahim and Her Majesty Raja Permaisuri Agong Raja Zarith Sophia have expressed their condolences to the families of the 15 victims who died in the bus crash. In a statement, their Majesties expressed deep sadness over the tragedy and prayed that those who lost their loved ones in the accident be granted strength, resilience and ease during this difficult time. Their Majesties also prayed for a speedy recovery for victims currently receiving treatment in hospital. Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim has expressed profound sadness over the fatal accident. The Prime Minister said he and his wife, Datuk Seri Dr. Wan Aziza Wan Ismail, were heartbroken upon receiving the news. They expressed their heartfelt condolences to the families of the victims and pray that they find strength and resilience during this incredibly difficult time. Anwar said he had instructed the Higher Education Ministry to coordinate the necessary assistance for the families affected by the tragedy. He also urged the public to take heed from such devastating incidents that continue to occur on the roads and to exercise caution and avoid rushing to their destinations. The Malaysian Communications and Multimedia Commission (MCMC) has clarified that the Mobile Phone Data Initiative is not aimed at invading user privacy, but will instead be used to enhance the collection and production of the country's official statistics. According to the Commission, all data collected from telco providers is anonymized, meaning it does not contain any personal information that could identify individual users.
Data-data yang diberikan itu mestilah di-anonymouskan. Mesti tidak ada unsur-unsur yang boleh mengenal pasti siapakah pemilik akaun ataupun individu. Tidak ada maklumat. Tidak ada nama, tidak ada nombor IC ataupun alamat.
He added that the use of such data in Malaysia, especially for statistical and policy-making purposes, is consistent with global best practices. He said the initiative is part of a global movement endorsed by the United Nations and is fully compliant with existing laws, including the Personal Data Protection Act 2010, as well as international standards. Search for woman underway after car rolls into river. This and more after the break.
Sekarang kan tengah musim hujan dan banjir. Jika anda tidak mampu menyelamatkan masa banjir, carilah bantuan daripada pihak yang pakar dalam kerja menyelamat. Jangan bahayakan diri anda. Fikir sebelum bertindak. Anda mampu menyelamatkan nyawa.
Diserang tak gentar, melangkah utuh jadi perisai.
Sebagai anggota FRU, kita ambil semangat sahabat-sahabat kita yang telah pergi itu untuk hadapi perjuangan yang akan datang.
Pasukan FRU sedia berkorban demi kestabilan dan keamanan negara.
Tahun 90-an bukan mudahlah nak survival, kita berjuang jugalah.
Saksikan 999 Selasa jam 9 malam di TV3 dan stream sekarang melalui Tonton.
Peningnya. Kecil ke besar, besar ke kecil? Mestilah anak yang besar.
Persoalannya, saiz apa yang puas?
Mestilah saiz 65 inci. Lagi besar, lagi layan.
Juara! Wow! Lagi layan tengok tonton dekat Smart TV besar. RM99 je.
Lagi besar skrin, lagi puas stream. Layan tonton di Smart TV, repeat sampai pagi.
Kes bunuh melibatkan seorang warga negara emas perempuan di bangsal hadapan rumahnya.
Dia nampak neneknya adalah harimau.
Dia kejar harimau tu, dia menyembelih lah. Memang satu sembelihan yang sempurna.
The government will begin a targeted review of the Sales and Services Tax or SST from July 1st, but has assured that the adjustment will not affect essential items. The Finance Ministry says the revision will only apply to selected non-essential goods in a move designed to avoid burdening the majority of Malaysians. Under the revised structure, selected items will be subject to either 5% or 10% sales tax, depending on their category. Among the items that will be taxed at 5% are king crabs, salmon, truffles and imported fruits. Meanwhile, premium items such as racing bicycles and antique hand-painted artwork will now carry a 10% tax. Second Finance Minister Datuk Sri Amir Hamzah Azizan said the government is taking a targeted approach to ensure that essential goods and services remain exempt. He also noted that several support measures will be in place to cushion the impact on micro, small and medium-sized enterprises. To support a smooth transition for businesses, the government will not take any legal action or impose any penalties until December 31st this year. Palm oil prices could weaken in the near term, while stagnating estate development and narrowing cost advantage to its alternatives pose long-term threats to the sector. Crude palm oil prices per tonne are expected to decline to between 3,700 ringgit to 4,000 ringgit until end of June. According to research house Phillip Capital, the expected price softening reflects a recovery in global edible oil supplies. It can also be attributed to increased soybean oil crushing activity, potentially weaker biodiesel demand and subdued consumption growth amid ongoing global macroeconomic uncertainty. Over the longer term, demand growth may come under pressure as its cost and yield advantages against soybean oil and sunflower oil gradually diminish, prompting importing countries to shift towards more competitively priced alternatives. Top US and Chinese officials met in London on Monday for trade talks amidst tensions between the two superpowers. Beijing has sent Vice Premier He Lifeng for the negotiations, while Washington is being represented by Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick and Trade Representatives Jamieson Greer at Lancaster House. Issues up for discussion are likely to include US restrictions on the sale of high-tech products to China and China's restrictions on the export of rare earth minerals, where it dominates the global market. According to Trump, the talks will focus on the details of the May trade agreement. Israeli forces intercept Gaza activist aid boat. The details when Nightline returns.
Menarik di Malaysia minggu ini, menyelami pengorbanan keluarga yang ditinggalkan.
Rina, awak kalau masak letak MS dalam masakan?
Letak kenapa?
Kena tahu kesannya kepada kesihatan.
Beli barang online secara COD, barang dah sampai tapi tak nak bayar. Kenapa?
Mereka telah menerima hukuman, berilah peluang kedua kepada bekas banduan, mulakan hidup baru.
Berbaloi ke daftar kad keahlian untuk berbelanja. Kita kupas dalam Soal Wang.
Isnin hingga Jumaat jam 10 pagi ditonton.
Juga eksklusif di TV3.
Tanyalah Ustaz minggu ini. Isnin, tuntutan menjaga alam. Selasa, keperluan atau kemahuan. Rabu, Nabi Ismail figura anak soleh. Khamis, surah Al-Qasas ayat 14 hingga 19. Jumaat, pembebas Baitul Maqdis. Sabtu, nikmat Allah yang Maha Pengasih. Ahad, akhlak di hujung jari. Tanyalah Ustaz biar tahu jangan keliru di TV3 dan TV9, stream juga dituntut.
Sebagai suami tak berguna, sebagai bapa tak boleh pakai.
Cukup! Sebab dia nak jadi manusia yang bertanggungjawablah semua benda ni terjadi.
Ibu cakap ceraikan Syam.
Ustazah, kau ni memang jenis bercakap tak dengan orang
Nombor 1, saya bukan ustazah.
Kau nak ugut aku, Aminah?
Awak ingat awak seorang je yang boleh main ugut-ugut?
Sumpah saya sangat. Apa tengok siapa yang nak tolong bapak macam kau ni?
Ni ada bersedia dengan aku penghukuman. Pasal apa yang dia ada buat.
On to foreign news. Israeli forces intercepted an aid yacht carrying 12 activists, included Greta Thunberg, on Monday as it tried to deliver humanitarian aid to Gaza. The activists, part of the Freedom Flotilla coalition, said they were kidnapped while on the way to Palestine.
My name is Greta Thunberg and I am from Sweden. If you see this video, we have been intercepted and kidnapped in international waters by the Israeli occupational forces or forces that support Israel. I urge all my friends, family and comrades to put pressure on the Swedish government to release me and the others as soon as possible.
As forces boarded the yacht, one activist reported that a suspicious white substance had been sprayed on deck, raising fresh safety concerns. Thunberg claimed the group was kidnapped, while Israeli officials said the yacht is being escorted to Ashdod port. The boat's current location is unknown, and social media accounts of the activists on board have gone silent since Israeli forces intercepted the vessel. Over in the U.S., thousands took to the streets in Los Angeles on Sunday, marking day 3 of protests against President Donald Trump's unprecedented deployment of National Guard troops. Demonstrators set fire to Waymo self-driving vehicles as clashes outside a detention center also turned violent, with police firing tear gas and rubber bullets. The White House defended the deployment and said Americans saw chaos and lawlessness as Trump called protesters insurrectionist mobs. So far, over 2,200 migrants have been arrested in what ICE calls the largest single-day operation in its history. In other news, 4 Japanese soldiers sustained injuries after an explosion at a storage site for unexploded ordnance on Japan's southern island of Okinawa. The blast took place on Monday at a facility operated inside the Kadena Air Base. Officials said the soldiers were inspecting a device, most likely from World War II, when it suddenly detonated. Meanwhile, the U.S. Air Force confirmed no American personnel were involved and that the soldiers' injuries were not life-threatening. Switching to sports now, football and the 2027 AFC Asian Cup qualifiers. Harimau Malaya will be looking to break their 11-year winless streak against Vietnam when they clash in a crucial Group F qualifier at the National Stadium in Bukit Jalil on Tuesday. Malaysia have lost 7 and drawn 1 of their last 8 encounters with the Golden Star Warriors since their last victory in the 2014 AFF Cup, now rebranded as the ASEAN Cup. However, head coach Peter Klimowski is counting on his new batch of heritage players to tilt the balance in favour of the hosts.
You know, again, we want to win tomorrow. There's no doubt about it. Yeah, and we want to play the best football we can, and get every Malaysian excited to watch, you know, our players play. And you know, again, we keep building the way we do. Special things will happen.
Klimowski also expressed satisfaction with the players' commitment throughout the centralised training camp, which began on May 19th. He said he believes the squad now has a clear understanding of the football philosophy he is trying to instill. Among the fresh faces expected to feature are Argentines Emmanuel Machuca, Rodrigo Holgado and Facundo Garces, Brazilian João Figueiredo and John Irasabal. Still on football, the UEFA Nations League, Cristiano Ronaldo's head coach and teammates praised his leadership after he led Portugal to their second title, beating holders Spain 5-3 on penalties following a thrilling 2-2 draw after extra time in Sunday's final.
Capitão com a experiência do Cris é essencial para criar os valores que falamos de mostrar personalidade. Hoje, uma equipa como a Espanha, que é uma grande equipa, ficar à frente no marcador 2 vezes e continuar é porque o capitão tem uma influência muito grande. Utilizamos a sua experiência, utilizamos a sua força e mostramos que somos uma equipa preparada para ganhar.
Fullback Nuno Mendes, who scored Portugal's first, set up Ronaldo's goal and converted in the shootout, also hailed the 40-year-old's impact.
É jogador que nos ajuda muito fora do campo, dentro do campo, que nos dá muitos conselhos, tanto a mim como aos meus colegas. E acho que é jogador importante para nós, jogador que precisamos ter no grupo, tem experiência, mentalidade vencedora e acho que isso é muito importante para nós.
Ronaldo was substituted earlier with what appeared to be a cramp, but Portugal battled through extra time before sealing the win from the spot. Turning to tennis, the 2025 Roland Garros Open. Carlos Alcaraz retained his French Open title in dramatic fashion, recovering from 2 sets down and saving 3 championship points to defeat Yannick Sinner in a thrilling final on Sunday. The reigning champion fought back from the brink of defeat to overcome world number 1 Sinner 4-6, 6-7, 6-4, 7-6, 7-6, clinching his 5th Grand Slam title after 5 hours and 29 minutes on the clay court in what is now the longest final in Roland Garros history. Alcaraz seemed set to relinquish his crown when he trailed 3-5 in the 4th set, but staged one of the greatest escapes in Grand Slam history. The 22-year-old Spaniard remains unbeaten in Grand Slam finals with a perfect 5-0 record after ending Sinner's 20-match winning streak in Paris. He now becomes the 3rd youngest man in history to win 5 Grand Slam titles, behind only Bjorn Borg and compatriot Rafael Nadal, following an epic showdown between the 2 leading stars of a new generation. Let's take a look as over 100 Brazilians participate in a symbolic hug in Rio de Janeiro to mark International Ocean Day. With that, I'm Azaria Tagaya. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.